Welcome to Distribution Talk with Jason Bader, the show where we dive into the stories, struggles, and solutions from business owners and thought leaders in the wholesale distribution market. Hey friends, Jason here. In this episode, I had the opportunity to spend time with Rich Danchisin, Distribution Sales Manager with Trinity Warranty Solutions. I recently stumbled upon this company through a conversation with another member of his team. After he explained a little bit about his company, I thought it would be an interesting subject for a show. Trinity is in the business of selling comprehensive warranty programs to contractors who install and maintain heavy equipment, like HVAC equipment and maybe home backup generators. Rich focuses on selling this coverage through wholesale distributors, and that's what piqued my interest. I think you'll find that these programs can provide a nice stream of income without the burden of cash tied up in inventory. My eyes were opened, and I hope yours are too. All right. Hey, Rich, welcome to Distribution Talk. Thank you so much for taking some time with me.
Well, Jason, thank you for having me.
Hey, I'm curious about this warranty business. You know, your colleague Gus reached out to me he thought I did something else for a living, and we actually wound up getting to talking a little bit. And I started thinking about this and thinking, man, this is, this would be a very interesting subject for the podcast. So if you wouldn't mind, tell me a little bit about how did you get involved with the warranty business? And maybe we'll talk a little bit in general about that.
Well, my history has always been in sales.
Mm-hmm.
I've done more years than I probably care to mention in one type of sales or another. And I've always gravitated towards products that I feel add legitimate value.
Mm-hmm.
I look at myself as a straightforward, honest person, and I'm not one that's comfortable selling something that I really don't think is necessary or I really think is purely profit driven for myself or my company and has little to no benefit to a customer. I ended up in the warranty side of things after I closed another business that I was running and looking for sales opportunities. And my wife had actually mentioned that there was a company that seemed to have trouble selling their product. And she described the warranty business in HVAC.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can sell that.
Okay.
And she's like, well, you don't know HVAC. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. But give me a few weeks and I will. But what I do understand is I understand sales. I understand trying to take care of customers, how to provide them with something that they may or may not know that they need,
Mm-hmm.
but let them see what the opportunity is and hopefully positively engage them. So to me, it is a product, but it is a very necessary product in this industry because there have been a lot of issues in the past for any of your distributors that have been in the field, whether it's an HVC or other things. When customers and consumers hear warranty, doesn't matter what comes after the word warranty, whether it's parts only, labor, limited, that's irrelevant. They hear warranty. And too often when a contractor goes out, again, whether it's in the HVAC industry or not, and they go to service a piece of equipment, whether it's in the first 6 months or the 6th year, they go to the customer and say, yes, you have a parts warranty on this thing. And I can get you that part for free because it's under warranty. And here's my bill for 1 to 10 to 15, 25% of the cost of the product that you purchased 6 years ago for the labor.
Okay.
And too often, again, that's not a good conversation starter.
Right.
They want to hear they are taken care of. And too often when the bill is presented, they now feel that you are either not honoring the warranty or you're trying to pull a fast one on them. And they will look at every item on that bill and make your life miserable for it. You can show them, here is your very expensive part, which I have replaced at no cost to you.
Right.
However, my time is not covered by the manufacturer. So now I have to bill you for the actual installation. You're paying me for my experience.
Yeah.
And again, that doesn't fit in with the consumer's perception of what they purchased previously.
Right. Right.
So the idea that you can now come in with a product that will take care of all of those issues, that will answer those questions before they even get asked.
Mm-hmm.
It's really peace of mind for everybody.
Yeah.
Now you're able to offer your customer something that you know will financially protect them from what you know is a potential expense, but they view as a non-expense
Mm-hmm.
down the road. And it also keeps the contractor getting paid for what they've done.
Yeah.
The flip side of the argument of why are you charging me for this? Let me see that invoice is now they look at the fact that you charge for a trip just to come out and do a diagnostic, take a look at it.
Yeah.
Well, I can't believe I'm getting charged, 1 hour or whatever the dollar amount is for that trip. Okay, Mr. Consumer, I'll take that off of my invoice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's still awfully high for what's done here. I don't understand what that thing is in my basement or my backyard, but I know your labor is too expensive for it.
Right.
So they take what is a competitive, comparable wage in their industry, in their market, and they cut it in half.
Yeah.
They take their 100, 200, whatever they're billing out an hour normally, and it's now $50.
Yeah.
It comes down to, I'll do it to cover my cost. Well, you can only cover your costs so long before you're out of business.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
So this product allows them to go out and service equipment, get paid an accurate hourly wage for their market
Mm-hmm.
and for their business model, while also not costing the consumer anything. And I think that's a wonderful model.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically and I don't know if I'm using a bad term by calling it an extended warranty, or maybe it's more of a comprehensive warranty is really what it sounds like. I mean, I think comprehensive might be a better term for it, but really what you're doing is you're removing the conflict. You're basically helping that contractor remove conflict from their conversation with the end user.
Absolutely. You're removing the conflict. And again, I come back to they're still getting paid for what they're doing. You can remove the conflict two ways. You can lower your cost, you can change your invoice,
Yep.
or you can have this coverage that says, congratulations, you can continue to earn a profit at this. It's not charity. We are all still allowed to make money.
That's good.
In this country.
I like that.
I'm very much in favor of making money. So why would you not have an option at least for the consumer to get their peace of mind, have your company be presented as somebody who is going to come and take care of them for the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes time for that repair, you're getting paid for what you're worth. I think that's an outstanding combination of things.
So, Rich, if I'm getting this right, basically the contractor is buying this insurance policy essentially, and then the cost of that premium, often they pass on to the consumer. Is that correct? Or do they absorb it? Or how's that work?
The nice thing about the way most of those coverage programs or ESAs, extended service agreements, whatever term you want to use for those, is that once it reaches the dealer or the contractor, there's typically not a fixed resale cost to that.
Okay.
So the contractor has whatever they acquire the agreement for, and depending on their market, depending on the particular job they're bidding on, yes, maybe I'll eat that cost.
Okay.
Maybe I'll tell the consumer, this is not part of my business model, but I have this available and I'm willing to pass it on at my cost.
Okay.
So that's another way to present it. The third way is to essentially bake it in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And take the cost of your bid and take it up 8, 10, 12% from where it would have been originally, but make sure the consumer knows that this is, as you mentioned earlier, comprehensive.
Yes.
This is bumper to bumper parts and labor.
Yeah.
And that's what more and more consumers want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
The era of perhaps me and my father, your father, think, oh, I'm going to go out and fix it because I've got tools. Those things are going away.
Yeah.
Most consumers now are in a more disposable mindset. Now, a full complete AC system is not throwaway, but it's not something they want to know about either.
Right.
It's on or off. And if it's off, then get somebody in here who can turn it on.
Yeah.
And that's what more and more consumers are going to across the board.
Right.
The beautiful thing about coverage programs is that the knowledge level of the consumer, the end user, is growing every day. It's growing when they try to go to Best Buy in the store or online, when they go to Amazon.
Yeah.
And that little box pops up. Do you want the extended coverage on this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the light bulb goes off. Well, do I?
Do I want the hassle down the line? I mean, it's really in fact, that'd be a much more honest question right there. Do you want, rather than do you want to extend, it's like, do you want to mess with this later on, or do you want us to just take care of it for you?
Yeah.
That would be honest.
Do you want to walk in with the box and set it on the counter and take a new one? Or do you want to struggle with this and then just go buy a new one and throw the old one away with no recourse?
I guess
I want some recourse. I want to know that I'm being taken care of.
I guess that doesn't fit in a little screen though very well. So I guess you got to tighten that up a little bit.
Yeah. But now, what I like to stress when I'm with contractors is help the consumer know the value of what they're getting.
Yeah.
I can speak to, let's say, a residential complete AC system, standard or high efficiency, doesn't matter. The cost is going to be roughly on 10 years of labor at about $125 an hour. About $600 to $700 will be the contractor cost.
Okay.
Now, if they choose to pass that on to the customer at cost, so it's $600 to $700.
Yeah.
Now, help the customer understand, though, that this is for 10 years of labor coverage on one of the most expensive systems you buy for your house, outside of your house itself and your car.
Yeah.
So for $600 or $700, you're taken care of for 10 years. Contrast that to the cell phone or the smartphone that everybody has. Okay. Now they're $1,000.
Right.
And the coverage, if you buy it up front, is usually around $200, maybe $250 for the insurance.
Right.
Now, in that case, most consumer electronics have a high deductible also. If you've ever broken your phone, and my son is a specialist at that, you know that $150 or $200 that you paid the first time doesn't get you a new phone. That gives you the ability to pay a deductible of almost the same amount to replace that phone. So for $500, you can now replace your $1,000 phone. For $600, you can have 10 years of labor on the second most expensive thing that you own in your house.
Doesn't sound like such a bad deal anymore.
No, when you look at those numbers and what you're willing to spend for that little piece of technology you carry in your pocket versus something that keeps your entire family comfortable 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, that's a pretty good value.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a great way to look at it, Rich. I think one of the questions I have here is, let's kind of take this over to distribution, because this is the name of the podcast, Distribution Talk. So I'm assuming that, these programs can actually be wholesaled through distributors. Is that correct?
I think that's one of the best places for them to be sold. For a distributor, it's a perfect tie-in for what they are already doing. They're providing their dealers, their contractors with different brands of equipment, different sizes of equipment. Why not provide coverage for that equipment? Now, the advantage of a distributor being the point for that is they can select one warranty company to cover everything.
Gotcha. Okay.
I like to say we are brand agnostic.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, you could do, Ream or Root or Trade, whatever they are. Yeah.
Yeah. A residential is residential. 10 ton is 10 ton.
Yeah.
So from that, dealers that are used to having 4 different lines that they work with and 4 different warranty programs, 4 different options for labor. One of them gives me a trip charge. One of them doesn't give me a trip charge. One gives me a little markup. One of them doesn't. When it comes to claims, I have to do this one with my left hand. I have to do this one with my right hand. The ability to single source that from a distributor is selling that dealer, presenting that dealer with that same peace of mind and that same comfort. Okay, I just bought this equipment. I'm going to get the coverage.
Yeah.
And it's the same place they go to. It's the same forms. It's the same claims. Everything is the same.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
that comes from the distributor, which is where they're going every day anyway.
Yeah. 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 Now, your company works with several HVAC distributors out there. I mean, you've had pretty good experience with them. Is this a relatively easy sell for the distributor, or is this something that they're going to have to really kind of educate the contractor on? Is there going to be a big learning curve?
It should not be a big learning curve because contractors are consumers too.
Yeah.
In other places, they've seen the idea of the extended service agreement, and they've either embraced it or not. Now, in some markets, there have been issues in the past with whether some companies have stayed in business. So sometimes there is a little resistance in certain markets based on something that's happened 10, 20, 15 years ago. So, but part of that is education.
Okay.
And that's a big part of what going through distribution for this product also offers. Is it is a chance to educate your dealers on one program.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, our most successful distributors have actually dedicated staff to champion coverage.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's a point person that knows the system inside and out and can really help explain the value of it, help the dealer sell the product.
Sure. Yeah. It ties you a little closer to that contractor, and really you're kind of now in the business of helping them sell. I mean, let's face it, distributors are salespeople. I mean, distributors sell stuff. They manage inventory and they sell stuff. That's what they're good at. And a contractor, sales wasn't necessarily the top skill there. It's I can fix it. I'm good at fixing, installing. I have that skill set, but sales is not necessarily the highest, piece of what they do. And so having that distributor come in and really help them in that sales process makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. I mean, you can go and look at any number of industries. I can harken back to my days in the dental field.
Okay.
In selling products. They certainly don't teach sales in dental school either.
No, they do not.
They may be the most awesome dentists in the world, but they have no idea how to sell, whitening, tooth sealants, whether you need the invisible braces to straighten your teeth. Oftentimes, I saw the most successful customers of mine were, how shall I say this, pretty good dentists.
Yeah.
But not great.
Got it.
But they understood their patients. They helped address their patients' needs rather than, very stone-faced, well, this is what you have, this is what has to be done.
I've met those.
Yeah.
I've met those guys. Yeah, I know those ones.
And sometimes those are the guys you want.
Right.
The guy that blows in a polo shirt and is glad handing everybody on the way in. Again, he is a dentist, but is he the uber dentist that you want for a particular procedure? Possibly. I'm not going to discount that. But certain dentists and certain professionals have that gift for engaging their customers.
Right.
Helping their customers feel like they're being taken care of. But that really wasn't why most of them went into it. Same thing with an HVAC contractor.
Yeah.
They love playing around with things when they were a kid. They love getting their hands on things, just like a dentist. But when it came to now go out there and sell yourself, well, can't I just fix things?
Right.
So that's why it's important for distributors and dealers to realize that maybe not everybody has that in them.
Right.
So the counter guy that knows where everything is and knows where the right application for every piece of equipment may not be the right person to talk to every dealer about coverage programs.
Yeah, interesting. No, that makes a lot of sense, Rich. That some of the ones who have really, invested in this, they've really said, you know what, I can make some money here. So I am going to dedicate a team to teach this and to educate a contractor how to make more money. And I'll tell you, I've always believed that when you can teach a contractor to make more money, or you can help them make more money, focus on that. That's where you win the loyalty points. That's where you get that loyalty and you get that contractor for life. If you can help them stay in business, make money at the end of the day, man, you're in. You are in.
And that is one of the most attractive things about coverage is that on both sides, distribution and dealership, the cost of implementing the program is very little. There's going to be, certainly on the distribution side, there may be a longer vetting process on who we're going to partner with. There may be a vetting process on who internally is going to champion this. But in terms of the rest of it, other than time, there is no inventory. There's nothing that's going to be out of stock.
Yep.
There's nothing that's going to expire on the shelf.
Right.
When it comes to the contractor, same thing. They're going to value the time that the distributor has put in to vet this coverage company. So that part's taken care of for them.
Yeah.
Now they just need a little education on why I want to present this to my customers. But again, that's just time for them to contemplate something. When it comes time for them to say, yes, I want to do this program, well, you're not adding one more dollar of inventory to the truck.
Right. Right.
When you put it on a proposal or a bid, you're not adding anything concrete to that.
Mm-hmm.
You can certainly talk about it with the consumer and take it off.
Yeah.
But it costs nothing to offer it.
Right. Right.
So the entry level in both cases is really about time.
Yeah.
It's not a physical investment, unless you consider time physical, which is a whole different conversation.
That's a longer conversation for us here. So, again, fascinating. And I mean, without, opening the kimono too far here, I mean, can a distributor make a decent little margin on this thing, on these programs? Or am I.
I can tell you that our most successful distributors probably do some of the highest margin.
Okay.
Because not only do they view it as a profit center, but they realize that they need to do some of that additional investment in personnel.
Okay.
We talked about whether, somebody takes 5 hours a week or 5 hours a day and becomes that point person for that. Well, that's obviously something taken away from something else, or something has to be added on. But it doesn't have to be that way. If they want it to be a more passive program where they don't use it as a profit center and just as a value add pass through, they certainly can. There's no set way to present this. Again, I can tell you our most successful, and we're talking about 6 figures and 7 figures a year in coverage sales, do treat it as a profit center and do dedicate staff.
Great. Okay.
But we have others that do hundreds a month and use it to sell more equipment, because that's the bottom line on everybody's side is if the program doesn't help us sell more equipment, we don't need it, or it's not the right program.
Right. What's the point? Yeah. It's what's the point? Right.
Yeah. Again, that's more time. It's not necessarily money, but it's just more time.
Yeah.
That's wasted. So there's any number of ways to treat it. We have customers that have treated it both ways. They've started out as a higher margin and then said, you know what, we get more bang for our buck if we tell our contractors we're passing this through at our cost. As a distributor, we get a better cost on this program than you would if you were a dealer direct. So take advantage of our buying power and get this at a lower cost than you normally could. And then again, treat it as you will in your business model, Mr. Contractor or Miss Contractor.
Yeah.
You can, again, add it in, you can eat it, or you can mark it up.
Interesting.
So it's very versatile at every level.
Yeah. So, Rich, at the risk of somebody now calling this show HVAC talk versus distribution talk, what other industries is this applicable to? I mean, I'm thinking a little bit in conversations with you and your counterpart. You talked about that. This kind of coverage is best with a stationary piece of equipment or something. But what other industries, I mean, are you targeting? Besides HVAC, who else is out there?
Well, we can take it out to electricians that sell home generators.
Perfect. Okay, there you go.
Backup building generators. Certainly, most of us, with very few exceptions, don't cover moving parts. So we're not covering fan belts, we're not covering filters, things like that. But that big energy recovery wheel can be covered. The backup generator pump can be covered.
Like a big industrial pump.
Big industrial pumps. We do.
Okay, I'm with you.
We do LED lighting.
Interesting. Okay.
So for those companies that are going through and doing those big retrofits,
Yeah. I'm with you. Okay.
we can help them with the labor side because that is always the biggest
Interesting.
cost there.
And what about solar? I mean, actually, I just when you said lighting, I was like, oh, what about like rooftop solar panels, things like that?
To my knowledge, there's not a lot of that out there right now. That's still a young market,
Okay. Okay.
but we do actually do a hybrid coverage because we have one company that provides solar panels that interact and help power the HVAC system.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So we do it in essence cover solar from
Yeah.
that side, because anytime that you open the system and introduce the solar panel as a power source, that voids the warranty on the
Okay.
equipment. So we come in and we cover everything from the solar panel all the way through.
Okay.
Now we also do things like refrigeration.
Okay. All right.
We do boilers. Most electromechanical equipment of any kind has the ability to be covered, whether we're currently doing it or not, or whether somebody else is.
Sure.
It's certainly an option, and it's always worth exploring
Yeah.
because, as we've said a couple times already, we're here to help sell more equipment.
Yeah.
So if there's a need out there that is not being addressed, but to one of your listeners are thinking, well, there's no reason this shouldn't be covered. Just make a phone call or shoot an email or two out and find out what your options are.
Yeah.
I can tell you from what somebody may be thinking about what's covered. The insurance companies that back us and back all of these programs out there from anybody, they live in the world of frequency and severity.
Okay.
So they want to know what they're getting into. So if an industry or some equipment has a very limited history, that makes insurance people get hives.
Yes. So that would be solar right there. Okay.
They get a little itchy when they can't look back and say, 10 years ago, what did this equipment do? 15 years ago, what did this equipment do? They like to see history. So if there's history, great. What we've done in other cases where we've had requests for coverage is that we will enter into non-disclosure agreements with manufacturers, and they will show us their proprietary data.
Okay.
What do you really know about your equipment?
Okay.
And if they have those performance records that our insurance people can evaluate, then that again opens up the option or the ability to cover. Going in blind is not an option.
Gotcha.
Or if it is, it's very expensive.
Interesting. So, I'm just kind of, my head is kind of spinning through some industries here, just kind of seeing if there's something, if there's application. I'm really thinking, through the industrial markets, I think that there's some opportunities there. There's some large pieces of equipment that are sold through the industrial channel. Boy, gosh, I want to say welding, maybe, those types of areas.
Yeah, again, the equipment is going to be the wear parts on the welding equipment, but robotics is one.
Oh yeah, okay, good.
That I've had some interest in. I'm again trying to push the envelope in some places to see what's possible.
That's what salespeople do, Rich. I mean, you guys push the envelope and then you get yelled at. So
as they tell me, you've got enough to do with HVAC distributors. You don't need to be poking your head into robotics. But there's no reason that somebody else couldn't find that niche.
Yes.
So we're always open to options, and I think that's one of the exciting things. It's like you said, your mind starts going, well, could we do this? Could we cover that? And just like trying to introduce coverage, all you need to do is ask. There's no cost to asking.
Right.
And that to me is the most fun, is that you can always just find out. I often tell that to customers when they have different sizes of equipment or something that they've never personally sold before. I said, just give a call.
Sure.
There's no cost in asking. There's no cost in checking with the insurance company to see if they're already covering something that we don't know about.
Right.
I didn't know that one of our insurance companies is involved with oil and gas in Canada. And I have a friend of mine in the oil and gas business in Houston. And he's like, do you have any idea how many pumps and generators there are in Houston?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Oh, absolutely. That's interesting you say that. I didn't even think about it down in Texas. I mean, the energy industry. I mean, I think that's a very interesting area to kind of take a look at. And again, all of these verticals, all these things that we talk about have distributors in the channel. I mean, they have distributors. And I think that The real message, I think the real intriguing thing for me was, when I started, when I started the relationship with you all, just kind of in conversation, was that this is an additional margin enhancer. I mean, this is there's a little bit more, and I think that distributors struggle with the margin squeeze in their market, no matter what they sell. It doesn't really matter. Everybody thinks they have the toughest market out there, but they've all got this squeeze occurring, and boy, this is an opportunity just to find a little bit more on the outside.
Absolutely. Especially if you can, become known as that distributor that is more innovative, that
Yes.
you do give different options, more creative options to your contractors.
Yeah.
Certainly you can become the go-to.
Yep.
If it's something that the uh, contractor didn't even know about before, and now, like you said, you've come in and you've enhanced their business, you're going to earn their loyalty. And there's nothing wrong with making a little bit of money
Sure.
on that enhancement. It's a value add, and how you choose to price that out is up to you.
Yeah.
But again, to say it again, our best distributors are not afraid to get some profit and some value back
Yeah.
for their enhanced program.
That's so interesting. I just, again, another industry popped up to my head, the pool supply industry. And I have done a lot of work over the years with pool supply distributors that, they sell to, a service contractor essentially, or a pool builder, but a lot of their business is service contractors. And I'm thinking about that they actually spend an awful lot of time helping that contractor sell additional things to that homeowner, whether it's an upgraded heater or a pump or saltwater system or whatever it may be. But you start thinking about that distributors in many cases are helping those contractors sell, and so why wouldn't they help them sell a comprehensive warranty package?
We've actually jumped in that pool already.
Awesome. Okay, good.
We
Good.
do offer additional coverages on those heaters and those pumps. And in some cases, we do the big dehumidifiers
Okay.
in larger spaces. So yes, we certainly have our feet wet. Oh my God!
Oh, you're killing me, Rich. You're
I'm
killing
gonna
me.
stop using analogies.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, no. So no, that's an area that definitely has more possibilities in it. We are doing things with some distribution. We also do things with OEM.
Mhm.
So in some cases, when you see an OEM program, it's often private labeled through a third party.
Yes, I would imagine so. Sure.
Much like distribution, what they're best at is selling equipment.
Yeah.
What we're best at is providing and servicing coverage.
Yeah.
So it's a way for that distributor, much like the OEM does, they can offer that coverage. We handle the enrollment. We handle the orders.
Mm-hmm.
We handle the claims, and they just get to sell more equipment.
Yeah. It's a neat program. I mean, I think that, I would really love to have my listeners, open their eyes to different possibilities. And that's really what this is all about, is that there are other possibilities besides what you got on the shelf.
Absolutely. And our product is not even on the shelf.
No, I know. That's even better.
We sell peace of mind.
I can't damage it. I can't lose it. I can't, get it stolen.
Nope.
So.
Nobody dropped it off the truck.
That's right.
Nobody took an extra one home on Friday afternoon. But it's something that when a distributor private labels, again, it can draw it in as not only a value add, but well, where else am I going to go and get this coverage?
Oh, that's fascinating. So you all will do private labels. So let's say it's, Jason's distribution company, that I can call it, Jason's comprehensive coverage, and you all will back that. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love this.
Yeah. There's no reason not to roll the JCC program right out there.
Yeah, right.
And again, the benefit of that Jason's program is that it is one program for everything that distributor sells.
Oh, that's fascinating. I like this. I didn't even think about the private label aspect. I think there's that's something I've been, preaching to distributors, that, private label is something that, does really can enhance your margins, but it can, protect you in the market space, differentiate you, all of those things. So that's a great one to bring up. So
Yeah, it's no longer now a manufacturer's program or
Right.
some third party. It's now something that it's our program. So when they set the pricing for it, it's their pricing. There's really nothing to compare it to. Obviously, residential is residential, but it's their program.
Yeah.
It allows them to also customize the offerings that they do provide. For instance, we're here outside of Chicago.
Yeah.
That's a completely different labor market from where I'm at to 25 miles east in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I go 25 miles to the west and I have cornfields.
Yes.
So what works for a contractor in the middle of the state versus what works for somebody here in suburban Chicago versus what somebody needs in metro Chicago is not often met by one manufacturer's program.
Gotcha.
A guy that has 2 trucks and has pretty low overhead may be happy with $75 or $100 an hour for a labor rate. I know for a fact there's contractors that won't get out of the truck for 150.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of the advantages that a custom program gives is if you are in a either more competitive or more expensive marketplace, too often a manufacturer's program won't meet the needs of the dealers. I just quoted a job at $225 an hour for the labor rate.
Yeah.
And does it seem high? Does it seem a little expensive? Yes, but that's what the market is.
Until you're cold and you want somebody to come out and fix stuff, then all of a sudden it doesn't seem so high.
It's not, but that's what it costs in some cases to be a contractor in Boston, in San Francisco,
California. I was going to say Bay Area. Absolutely.
Yeah. Just the space to park their trucks.
Right.
Cost them $100 an hour.
Right.
So from that perspective, a custom program, a private label program really allows that distributor to enhance the value of this to their contractors.
Now, this is great, Rich. I really appreciate you sharing this and putting it together. If you wouldn't mind, plug the company, man, or plug you or plug the company. How does somebody get a hold of you? If they really want to think about, putting together a program like this, how can they reach you?
The company I work for is known as Trinity Warranty.
Okay.
And we are based out of the Chicagoland area, but we are licensed in all 50 states to do business. We cover residential, commercial, industrial products. We do parts only, labor only, both. We can also cover individual components like compressors. We can customize those quotes. We can work with a distributor to design that program that works for their marketplace. Mm-hmm. As we said in the very beginning, if it's not selling more equipment, it's not the right program. Gotcha. So when it comes down to a conversation with a distributor, we like to come in with a blank sheet of paper and explore the different ways with our customer on how their market is, how they want to move their market towards. So much of what we do is education. We will not only design that program, but then we'll come out in previous years, we would come out
virtually. You will come out
and meet with the team. Now we virtually will meet with the team and answer questions, allay concerns, get them excited. We design programs to fit the needs of the distributors that we work with.
What's the website somebody can hit to go find you?
It's pretty straightforward. It's trinitywarranty.com.
Okay. Can they just email you directly?
They absolutely can. It's not nearly as user-friendly as trinitywarranty.com, but it's a combination of my first 2 letters of my last name and my first initial, which is DANCHIR at trinitywarranty.com.
Okay.
And I'm always happy to entertain any new ideas or let you know about some of the existing programs. I love private labeling.
I do too.
Because it adds such a tremendous value and really allows a distributor to be creative with their pricing and certainly be creative with their profit margin. And I'm a big fan of helping everybody sell more equipment so everybody makes more money.
I couldn't agree more. Well, Rich, I really appreciate you taking the time, and we will make sure that the URL and your email are linked in the show notes so everybody can get a hold of you and hopefully bombard you with questions and see if they can figure out how to put this together for their organization. I think it's a very interesting idea, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come and share it with us.
I certainly appreciate the time as well, Jason. From all of us at Trinity Warranty, we are certainly very thrilled to have had this opportunity to speak with you and your distributor group. And we look forward to helping all of you be more successful in 2021.
Fantastic. Thanks, Rich. Take care. And again, it was a pleasure speaking with you.
Jason, thank you for your time.
Thank you for listening. If you liked what you heard, consider hitting that subscribe button. Links to sponsors, products, and services mentioned during this episode can be found in the show description area on your podcast application or at www.distributiontalk.com. Distribution Talk is edited and mixed by Andrea Klunder and Edwin Ruiz of the Creative Imposter Studios. This episode was brought to you by Connected Peers Organization. CPO is a new organization dedicated to providing fast-paced monthly networking opportunities for industry peers. To learn more about how CPO can bring solutions to your role, visit us on the web at www.connectedpeers.com.